My great-grandmother is named Sheila Gwynn. She was a pioneer in WA racing. There's a listed race named after her in Perth now, and her daughter, who's my grandmother, was a breeder. She had a stud, but it's kind of skipped a generation. My parents loved horses, but actually not the racing side. They were in the equestrian and three-day eventing side, so yeah, didn't really get any inspiration from my parents at all. My name's Daniel Cripps. Been following horse racing for the best part of 12 years, but doing it full time and running a tipping service called Cripps Racing for the last 5 years. There was a pivotal moment in my, career to get where I am today, and it was at the end of 2016. A guy you guys would be very familiar with, Daniel O'Sullivan. He was running a tipping service. I had a few mates who had signed up to him and they were raving about him, and I thought, I've got to give this a go. So I'm probably a little bit suspect at the time. And had tried other things like that with varying degrees of success, and it wasn't these winning tips that were so beneficial to me. It was, he used to write these educational articles, which are actually still on the Betfair hub now, and I just became obsessed with them. I was reading them inside out, back to front, just trying to learn as much as I could. And Daniel O'Sullivan was the guy who gave me the confidence or the hope to sort of say, why couldn't I do this? I ended up buying his rating service GTX, which I still use today, and that was about the start of 2017. April 2019 was a bit of a sliding doors moment for me. I had a really bad footy accident where I broke my leg and was in hospital for about a month because I had heaps of issues with infection and whatnot, and obviously recovered, got out. I remember the first day getting back to work, and I'd probably jumped on the tram and it'd taken me 40 minutes door to door, and I got there, I was on crutches and leg was sore, and I thought, nah, this isn't for me. So I quit my job pretty much straight away. I didn't actually have a plan to run a subscription service or do tipping or anything like that, but I was lucky enough where just by chance the opportunity came about, and I took it with both hands, and from there Cripps Racing started up pretty shortly after, and I absolutely love it. I don't think any form analysis I do is overly cutting edge or reinventing the wheel, but I always say form is just like a big jigsaw puzzle. There's so many different angles and thoughts, and you've just got to have the ability to put it all together. So the main thing I concentrate on is focusing on runners who settle on pace. For about the last 3 or 4 years now, I've actually kept a column in my personal results spreadsheet of settling position, and really want to be focusing on horses who settle in the first 4 or 5, especially at tracks that are suited to that. Big thing for me is looking at trainers who are going through good runs, and then maybe trying to avoid bets on trainers who are having a bit of a lean time. I think especially when it gets close to the race, Betfair is betting really. I mean, even when I'm not using Betfair to actually bet, I love just watching it because there's so much market intelligence on there. The sharpest guys and the biggest players in the game are all using Betfair, so you can just sort of get so much intel out of them. The one thing I really like, and I've been using a fair bit, is the Betfair starting price, but with a minimum odds function. I like to sort of have my day quite planned out before the first race jumps, and sometimes, for example, if there's a horse that you like but the current price is not where you want it to be to have a bet, I can just go onto Betfair, put my amount on at BSP, but minimum odds might be, in the morning, say the horse is $2.20 and you want $2.50 to have a bet, so you just set it as $2.50, and then if it hits your mark, you're on. If it doesn't, well, that's fine as well. I don't think it's probably ever been worse at the moment with corporate bookmakers just absolutely taking the mickey out of punters with some of the hoops and the rings they're making punters go through. And the good thing about Betfair is it just feels like it's the only place out there that has your best interests at heart.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.